We begin with the showdown just hours away in the race for president and breaking developments on both sides tonight. In South Carolina, the Republican rumble and the new poll tonight. Donald Trump at 28%, but his lead not as large as before. Ted Cruz closing in 5 points behind there. Marco Rubio in third with 15%. And tonight, Donald Trump at the center of another major headline. 24 hours after taking aim at the Pope, tonight taking on another giant, telling people to boycott Apple until they help the FBI break into that terrorist's iPhone. We have it all covered, including Apple's response tonight. ABC's Tom Yamas leads us off from South Carolina.
Tonight, Donald Trump with a new target. The billionaire now declaring war on Apple.
How do you like it? I just thought it. Boycott Apple.
Trump fuming as the tech giant refuses to help investigators unlock the iPhone of one of the San Bernardino terrorists.
First of all, Apple ought to give the security for that phone, okay? What I think you ought to do is boycott Apple until such time as they give that security number.
Tonight, senior Apple executives telling ABC News the company has no sympathy for terrorists, that they left their rights at the door. But this case is not about these terrorists. Those executives adding, this is not Apple versus the government, this is the people versus the government, saying they're out to protect their customers. Apple, the second giant tangling with Trump this week. The first, Pope Francis, who suggested Trump was not Christian for wanting to build a wall on the Mexican border.
For a religious leader to question a person's faith is disgraceful. I'm proud to be a Christian.
But today, an olive branch from the Vatican. The Pope's spokesman saying his comments were in no way a personal attack or an indication of how to vote. Trump's tone softening as well.
You know, today he was very nice. You probably heard he put out a message that, cleaned things up. But I will say the Pope was great, and he's a very nice man.
But the South Carolina frontrunner's problems don't end there. Trump now under fire for his frequent claims he is the only Republican candidate who opposed the war in Iraq.
I was against the war in Iraq. I said it's going to totally destabilize the Middle East. I tell the truth about Iraq. I say the war was a disaster. We shouldn't have done it. We did it. So I should get points for vision because I was totally against the war in Iraq.
But today, Trump confronted with this recording of a 2002 interview with Howard Stern.
Are you for invading Iraq?
Yeah, I guess so. I wish it was. I wish the first time it was done correctly.
On the stump, the candidate trying to explain.
And the first guy ever asked me about Iraq was Howard Stern. I said, well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. Then I started looking at it. Before the war started, I was against that war. I was against that war. I said, don't go to Iraq. And I said it strongly, and I said it loud.
But Trump's campaign unable or unwilling to produce any evidence that he was ever a vocal opponent of the war before it began. On the other side of South Carolina today, Senator Marco Rubio surrounded by the state's top Republican leaders, later tweeting this video on the plane with Senator Tim Scott and popular Governor Nikki Haley.
Go out and tell 10 people it's going to be a great night in South Carolina.
You feel a lot of pressure because of all these big endorsements?
No pressure. We feel a lot of momentum and we feel great. And, it's in God's hands and in the voters' hands tomorrow, but we feel good about the work we put in.
But Rubio is trailing Senator Ted Cruz.
If we come together, we win.
But tonight, Cruz with some problems of his own. New lawsuits in at least 6 states challenging whether Cruz's name can appear on the ballot because he was born in Canada.
All of this on the eve of South Carolina. Tom Yamas with us live from that state. And how is Ted Cruz responding to these lawsuits tonight, Tom?
Well, the Cruz campaign says this is no coincidence that all these lawsuits are being filed right around the time of the South Carolina Republican primary. Now, they do have lawyers fighting back, and Cruz maintains he is an American because his mother was an American when he was born in Canada. David?
Tom Yamas with us tonight again. Tom, thanks.